Hello and welcome to That's Good, Pick It Up, a podcast mostly about golf books. This is Robbie Woodard, founder of BestBall and the producer of this podcast for my friend Nate Oxman. This is the final of a three-part series where Nate interviews John McLaughlin to hear more about 32 years behind the scenes of the U.S. Open. If you like this podcast, check out the others in the BestBall family, including the Whole Story podcast, Off the Deck, Southern State of Golf, and Pictures on the Scorecard. You can find these and the rest of them at bestball.com. For now, enjoy the third part of That's Good, Pick It Up, where Nate chats with John McLaughlin. Enjoy.
And then, 2000 was Tiger. You were there when he shot 65 at Pebble.
Oh, yeah.
So are you able to enjoy watching something like that, or you're too focused on your job?
I used to tell people, I can't tell you who's winning the U.S. Open.
Uh-huh.
But if you want to know what this guy shot at the 7th-hole third shot, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And it might even be some guy you never heard of.
Right.
If you're an amateur who just got it easy. Even though we only follow with leaders. But I mean, it's a while one of those people gets in. That could happen in an Olympic with that guy made a hole in one.
Yes.
He was in the next to last group on Saturday. So you're right. I don't enjoy it. Like right now, my avocation, since I've retired, I was a basketball ref for 41 years.
Uh-huh.
And now I'm a NCAA referee observer. Okay. Division I observer. And I do a lot of that. Okay. And they pay me. And I'm good at it.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I don't enjoy the game?
Right.
So watching the referees and their positioning and all that. And I can't even tell you who's the game goes to. Because I'm so focused on my job. Same at the U.S. Open. You could tell the people who really were good at it, that's what they did.
Yeah.
So people would say to me, if I'm walking around, if I'm walking, people would say to me, like if they didn't have a leaderboard nearby, and they know I have my headset on, thinking, hey, could you tell me who's winning? I have no idea. And I felt like a jerk. In a sense, I didn't know. I didn't know. Because they didn't keep us updated.
Right.
If you're on the production, you're on the show. You're on the production. There's a channel I could switch it to where I could hear the show. But if I did that, I wouldn't be able to get the direction for the producers, Things like that, people don't even understand what that even means. Because I'm focused on answering the production questions so Johnny Miller can tell you. Like I tell people all the time, when Johnny Miller tells you that Mickelson was in the 6th fairway hitting a 3-iron to a back right pin,
right,
I had to tell him that. He doesn't know that.
Right.
Yeah. I tell him that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people like me.
Yeah.
So I said, that's the neat part about what I lived.
Yeah.
That even though I had no one had any idea who I was, what I was doing, but the people sitting in Iowa found that information out because of me.
Yeah.
And 12 people like me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And then, so when you confirmed with Tiger that he hit 7-iron on 12, is that something that you were comfortable doing?
No, I didn't want to do it at all.
Yeah.
No. Once again, I was on the team again. When Tiger plays, they won every single shot.
Yeah.
Every issue. It's 81 or 61. That makes no difference.
Right.
They won every single shot.
Yeah.
So when you have Tiger, and I had Tiger a lot, you are mentally and physically drained.
Yeah. More
More physically than anything. Because you cannot screw up. But you can say, I don't know. Once in a while, you can say, I don't know.
Right.
But you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I felt good. I had Tiger a lot. So anyway, on the 12th tee at Pebble Beach, the guy who lives behind the 12th tee has his own zoo.
Are you serious?
That's how big the piece of property is. His own zoo. It's in the book. And people don't believe it. There's his own zoo. You can't get back there, by the way. Fans can't get back on the 12th tee.
Yeah.
The rules don't let you go, but I could go. Yeah, I had to go there. Own zoo. So, and that must have cost. His house is probably worth $10 million. Anyway, so he's on it, and Fjord did first, and then who was the second guy? Forget. I'll think of it. It doesn't make any difference. But Tiger goes last, but he goes, shots. He's clear. I think it was 212, something like that. And the little breeze coming off the Monterey Peninsula, that was it. And he hits it 2.5 feet. Our case goes nuts, right? So what did he hit? And I said, Stevie flashed me 2 down. Okay. And you ricotta, you know what that means, right? I don't know if you think of that, it's 7 iron. Okay? So I say, well, Stevie flashed me 2 down. It must be a 7 iron. He says, it can't be right. He must think 13th tee all over again, right?
Right.
And I said, I don't think I saw it right. That's what he. I said, well, I'm not putting it on the air. I said, that's kind of a mistake. I said, okay. So Mark Walking was the walking announcer on that. He's at the greens. He reached me halfway. He's coming up and I'm coming down. He says, what did he hit back there? See, he's listening to the show.
Right.
He's not listening to the producer. So even though we're close, we can't talk to each other by this. We have to talk this way. Wow. Because he wants to know, what did he hit back there? And I said, 7. He hit a 7 iron that far. He said, that's what Stevie flashed me. He says, go ask him. I said, no, I'm not. Go ask him. That's okay. Go ask him. So I'm nobody. He should go ask him. So I did. I said, Tiger, what'd you hit? 7. I said, 7? And I said, all right. So I went back and I said, 7 up. Tell me 7 up. So after that round was over, he was in the press tent. And the first thing their golfers do when they go to the press tent is they review their round, right? As quickly as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him what he did on 12 because it was a great shot. And he said 7 on.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew it was 7 on. He told me. That's the only time I ever spoke to him in my life.
Really?
That's the only time no. He came to me once.
Oh, yeah.
And said, are you getting everything you want from Stevie?
Yeah.
And I said, yes. And he approached me because he knew people want to know.
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah.
He could be a jerk, I'm sure. But yeah, he gets the fact that I'm there to get information.
Yeah.
Is that we can have a good show.
Yeah. And this story is crazy. In 2005, when there was a guy trying to be John McLaughlin.
But, he was. I got fired for that reason.
Yeah. That's crazy, right? You must have been freaking out.
I did. I was on the 12th fairway when Louis called me. And it was Sunday. It was Saturday. What day it was. But anyway, didn't make any difference. It was Saturday. Yeah, because I already had my issues with the guy at the front gate because they wouldn't let me walk in. I did the hush trick,
Oh, yeah.
which really pissed them off. Because
But from your perspective, like sometimes that's a nightmare to like park like 5 miles away.
yeah, I'm living in a house in Pinehurst.
Right.
I wasn't going to drive 20 miles and go back
Yeah.
20 miles on a bus. I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
That's just stupid.
Yeah.
Well, the state police. There's 4 of them there.
Had
2 cop cars. You ain't getting that. I'm losing that battle.
Right.
But the thing that annoyed me was I'm not a frat boy. I'm an
Right.
old man,
Yeah.
older man.
Right.
I'm not trying to sneak into the
Yeah.
here.
Right.
I don't have a beer bet with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd go in $50 if I could sneak it.
Yeah.
Come on. So when somebody calls me on the phone with a headset, he says, the same headset, Snoop on Idol, NBC, ABC, exactly the same. He says, yo, John, where are you? And I'm saying, I thought, what the fuck do you think of it? Oh, I'm on the 12th fair. I'm with the 12th fair with 2 people who came with me in my soapy. This is what I was with, right?
Yeah.
And he said, that's where you're supposed to be. I said, yeah. And when he says, I was about at the NBC hospitality saying, there's a guy named John McLaughlin who's causing a lot of problems at the NBC, hospitality tent. And one of our biggest customers, NBC customers, talent, wants you arrested and fired. And his name's Donald Trump. Donald Trump was against the Donald Trump was the guy. And he was not President Trump.
Right.
He was way before he was
Yeah.
Donald Trump now. And he had the show The Apprentice.
Oh, yeah.
It was on NBC.
Oh.
I never saw the show.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that. So I say, I'm with, these 2 idiots that can't win the US Open. I don't know what you're even talking about. And so Willie says to me, we don't know what's going on either. Because he said, we know you. We know you're not going to do that. Okay. And he said, here's what's going to happen. The Pinkertons are going to come out and probably arrest you. Or the state police. Don't worry about it. Just do what they say. We're going to stay in. Yeah. Just don't worry.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen, but I didn't know it didn't happen. I'm looking at my shoulder. And I'm saying to myself, those poor guys that I screwed every day getting on the bus,
Yeah.
they're dying to find me for the rescue. They'll love them. So anyway, so I get back to that thing, and Louis says to me, "Here's what we found out what happened. There's a black guy, young black guy, got a credential. We have no idea how they got it. Had my name on it, had McLaughlin on it. I knew, and he was doing stupid stuff in front of the pavilion. He was drunk out of his mind. As soon as they came out and tried to get him, he ran away. He just physically ran and got lost in the crowd.
Yeah.
Okay. He ended up being arrested on the golf course later on by doing stupid stuff in front of another person of authority. I lost my arm. And they said, so we knew it wasn't you, but we didn't want to how to do what they asked us to do, So I said, yeah. I said, and the more I thought about it, like, imagine that an old white guy
Yeah.
being confused with a young black guy.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? And no one knows now he got a credential.
Right.
I never saw the guy. I don't know who it was, but they're pretty sacred.
Mhm.
You don't find them,
Right.
in a trash can.
Yeah. And then you had another run-in with former president, right? The President's Cup.
W.H. Bush.
That's another cool story.
Oh, that's true. That's so funny because I almost knocked him over.
Yeah.
That was so funny. I didn't know who it was at the time, and that was cool. That was really neat to be around. I was only there for like 5 to 8 minutes when I was walking back. And DeMarco hit the shot and he went the whole lawn.
Yeah.
And I'm walking backwards, and they went to club, and they flashed whatever it was, 7-iron, whatever it was. And I'm walking back, and I'm boom, and hit the guy. And all of a sudden, these guys with the dark suits come over with their everything, Secret Service gun, every button's their cape.
Yeah.
You have to get their guns. So these like 4 or 5 dark suit guys with sunglasses come over between me and the President Bush, ex-President Bush, checking on him like,
Right.
we should have done.
Yeah.
And he goes in, and me and Bush, President Bush, looked at each other like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And so that was it. That was the end of the story, but it's just there, just he and I
Yeah.
to see this shot. And he apologized to me.
Did he?
So he said to me, I'm so sorry that, I am this. Yes, it is. Well,
Yeah.
much ado about nothing.
Right.
It was a cool moment for me.
Yeah.
And the guy who should have won was Montgomery. Montgomery
Yeah,
should have won. He was in the middle of the fairway. All I had to do was shit like, I don't know, it's 8-iron, whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
And a 2-putt, and he got in. And once again, that green, that's for Fuzzy and the Shark.
Yeah.
The Shark made a 4 there that no one on earth could ever make. Fuzzy thinks it's a 5 because he hit it from the grandstand onto the green. It was ridiculous. I was right there. I was in the power back then. Yeah. So, and Fuzzy's down with the towel.
Yeah.
And by the way, that was one of the pictures they didn't let me use. I had that picture, but it was I had to get permission from a place called Getty Images.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that, so I found another one. But anyway, yeah. So that green, at least on Sunday at the U.S. Open, has got to be hit. That does not have a ladies' entrance like the 14th and Marion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Marion has a lot of ladies' entrance.
Yeah.
The second horse, the same way.
Yeah.
So you have to hit that green. And of course, they're going to go the rough this high.
Yeah.
If you miss the green, it's either in a trap or rough this high. And Montgomery had the best chance to do that. Nicholson took himself out being stupid. Bones was really pissed at him.
I bet.
I'm not a big lover of Bones, but that's another story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other guy the guy that won it was the guy from Australia, Ogilvy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even see how he won. I don't know where he may have finished early. I forget.
Yeah.
I wasn't that involved with him. I was with Nicholson and that venture. And then at the very end, Nicholson said, how stupid am I?
Yeah.
And I say, well, if the shoe fits, you've only yourself to blame.
Yeah.
Because even the people even people who were standing with me out of bounds, not out of bounds,
Right.
in a rough, are going like, Bones is going like,
Yeah. And then I like the stories of 2009 at Bethpage when La Cava, asked you what you were doing. And you were
oh yeah,
starting.
yeah, drop my notes.
Yeah, that was cool. And then Tiger gave you that look when you told him.
Yeah, Sergio pulls a 6-iron on that hole. That was the 8th hole. It was raining it was raining. It was ugly. It was awful weather. And it's a 2-tier green, big oak tree in the corner up there. And the right shot is a high fade. And Sergio gets a 6, kills a 6-iron. And but it played over 200 yards, I'm sure. Anyway, man, it was in the lower part of the green, and I see Tiger looking at me. He's looking at me, and I move. It's just like this when his arms folded like this. He's like, in my eye. What did he get? So one of these, right? And he goes, he just rolled the sides, and he has a 5-iron.
Did he?
Yeah, he had a 5-iron up to the upper right. 2 putted for par, and off he went. But Sergio had a 3-putt from where he was, because he was so far away. It's like I'll tell you what, it's like being at the top right of the 16th hole at Merion, and the pin's at the bottom left.
Yeah.
It's a 3-tier green, right?
Yeah.
What chances do you have to make that putt? Anyway, so the same idea.
Was that the first year that you were just on a par 3?
At my request. Yes, that was the year that I went to Erin McGuff. She was the new lady that when we worked with, because Louis had gotten fired. I'd love to hear that story, but I don't know anything about that.
He's still alive.
I don't know that either. I have his phone number. We still have his phone number. And you know what? I said to my wife, I should call him over here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't call him. But yeah, I said I was getting up in age. And yet, when you work the U.S. Open, you have to walk 15 miles. You work one group in the morning and one group in the afternoon. That's 7 miles per round. And 15 miles by the time you get your car, walk around the compound, get your phone. So then you're on your feet. When you leave that tent in the morning at 7:30, you're on your feet till 8 o'clock at night. Especially when it's rainy. You're not sitting down. Like ever.
Yes.
Right. So I went to Aaron and I said, if you can use me in a par 3 tonight, I'd really appreciate it. I don't feel like I'm getting older. I didn't say that, but I was getting older. I didn't feel like walking in that mush, which was more tiring than anything.
Right.
The mud puddles I had, and dangerous. And I started to get the balance problem. And she was fine. She said, oh, John, don't worry about it. Oh my God, yeah. Go to the 8th hole, which is right near where the compound was. She said, no, go to the 8th hole. If you don't mind doing that. Oh, I said, Aaron. And then after that was over, I said to her, hey, from now on, I'll take flights. It's fun. I can make it fun. I can make them, and I'm good at it. Yeah. Again, they knew what I was doing. Okay. So that was one less thing that anybody had to worry about. And by the way, there was a bunch of me that knew that. There was like, out of the 12 people I usually hired, there was probably at least 6 of us that really knew what we were doing. All the time. Because we were the same people. Tommy Aycock was one of them, who was in the book. He was a friend down in Jacksonville. And he was terrific. He was really good at he was better than I was. Really? Yeah, he was really, really good at his job. And once in a while on real important weeks, I would put him and I together. He would do them. He was really good on yardage. He could use one of these days, but way before that.
Yeah.
He was good on yardage, and I was good on finding a problem. So, yeah.
Is that hard for you? Was it hard for you to stop doing the walking and just
No, I thought I would, but it was. Let me tell you something. When I was done walking, when I was able to walk, I was dead tired.
Yeah.
I was dead tired. And that's why I say in the book, Motel 6 and the Marriott look exactly alike when your eyes are front.
Yeah.
So why would I spend $212 versus 80 more?
Right.
Because I'm only in the room to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm hanging out in that room. I'm sleeping in that room.
Yeah.
And I'm sleeping fast. I'm not dog-like. I'm not a,
right.
not a carouser.
Yeah.
Pretty boring guy.
Was, Do you have looking back, do you have a least favorite and a favorite US Open
people ask me,
experience?
I really liked, for beauty's sake, I think Torrey Pines is really nice. It's a public golf course.
Yep.
Kind of public. It's like $500.
Yeah.
It's not like Bethpage where it costs
Right.
50. No, the only thing I didn't like was when it was bad weather. I felt bad for the players too.
Yeah.
They have to deal with that. But
Right.
you're making a lot of money if you make the cut. We were getting paid, whether we got paid or. By the way, we did get paid. A lot of people thought that I was volunteering. No, I didn't volunteer. I got paid. I didn't get paid a whole lot. I got paid, and so we were getting paid whether it was raining or not. But it really started wearing on me. It got harder and harder for me to walk 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the golf courses are hilly. Marion's not that hilly. In parts it is. The back nine's a little more hilly than the front nine. But anyway, the front 12.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just was time.
Yeah.
I thought it would be boring when I requested it on the 8th hole. It was really neat, and I thought, no, I want to keep doing this, but I'm not going to get. I'm not going to say to them I can't walk anymore. There's enough jobs for people like me, like being on a par 3.
Right.
Like the 6th, I spent 4 days on the 7th hole at Pebble Beach, and that's not
amazing.
That's not tough duty. And all they're hitting is gap wedges.
Right. Yes.
Yes. Not much to do. I mean, it was kind of fun to see. And I remember Sunday afternoon, like to turn around and look at this see that guy standing there. It's like on the 7th on Sunday afternoon late on the 7th tee. I did what this guy did. I looked out onto a thing and I said, "How lucky am I?"
Right. Yeah.
I'm a guy from Haverton. I'm standing on the 7th tee on one of the most photographed holes in the world,
Yeah.
getting paid.
Getting paid.
Say some.
Yeah. So
Not to like about that. So yeah, it worked out pretty well. The only thing I was very disappointed in, I really wanted the 13th tee at Marion, and they gave me the 3rd,
did they?
which I didn't like at all because it's the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's 2 days journey
Right.
from the compound,
Yeah.
right?
Well, especially because there was nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
It took forever to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah.
So little space.
So and it was in the middle. There's no shade on the tee.
Right.
Okay, there's a pine trees behind it, but okay. I would, and I in the book I said, I think I said it. I never really asked for any group. I never said, "Hey, I want Tiger to."
Right.
Never do that.
Yeah.
It would never cross my mind. I would never do that. And I never really asked, except for Erin at one time, for a different job.
Yeah.
I mean, she understood where I was coming from because she knew I was getting older. She knew the days. I wasn't a young kid anymore. I was in my 50s. And so I did request that. But if I had known, I think I could have gone to Erin and say, "Do me a favor," because she and I get along. I didn't know her real well. She's from California. She's a young girl. She was a very young girl.
Yeah.
Very, very nice young lady. And I think she would have done it for me. But I said, no, whole life is complicated enough. Not worrying about some fucking old guy in Havertown for them to beat him with 13th tee. That would be a cool place to be,
Yeah.
especially back on 1981.
Right.
Let's say that would be the full circle out there. That would be the full circle for me. Marion was my full circle. I think the 13th would have been cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because nothing was happening on the 3rd hole. although Nicholson did hit somebody behind the 3rd tee.
Yeah. A member's daughter.
Yeah. Who was it?
A member's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is looking back on all the experiences, is there one experience that stands out above the rest?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
It's cool that you had so many just great moments.
The things I remember really a lot are Palmer's last round of golf. That was really cool. It turns out to be asked to do that when nobody really had to cover it because we weren't going to win the U.S. Open, but it was going to be an event, and I'm glad I did that. That was really a nice thing for Ben Harvey to do for me. To be here and think about 9 things that were just the whole experience of just being able to do it. Yeah. When I look back on it, it was quite remarkable.
Yeah. I mean, you're inside the ropes for how many?
32.
32.
Well, if you read the book, and I know you did, I also did a lot of other events. I did Ladies Open, I went to Country Club.
Yeah. Yeah. That I forgot about that run in with Ben. You met Ben Harvey there, right?
That's right. Yeah. Because the new guy, I can't give his name right now. He was a spotter. He was a terrible spotter. Anyway, he becomes the head of Fox Golf. Anyway,
Loomis?
yeah,
Yeah.
Mark Lewis.
Yeah.
Mark Lewis. I'm the guy that told him he was lousy. I was experienced. That was so long ago. Well, when I got a hold of him, and he called me right back. I got his information off the internet. It's you could find. That's where you could find stuff.
Yeah.
He got back to me within 5 minutes. Like, oh yeah, John, you still doing? Oh, I got to have you. You're terrific. He's wonderful. But anyway, so yeah, he at the first meeting, he says, "Oh, I hired somebody with his U.S. Open experience, a guy named Ben Harvey." I go, "Yeah, that ain't right. I'm glad I'm here now because I want to meet this guy again." And of course, he worked in a truck. Truck guy was not a truck. And then I saw him.
That's
That was
cool.
really a cool experience.
Yeah. That's a great golf course, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get to play there, of course, but I was there for 4 days. I just had it again this past summer.
Yep.
Same place, right? Yeah. Yeah.
How did you hook up with Newman Springs Publishing?
Okay, the hardest part about writing the book is getting it published.
Yeah.
For me, got all my notes. Writing the book was easy for me.
Right.
And the pandemic made it easier. I did not know what to do. Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm a boring guy. And I said to my wife, I got all these notes downstairs. You and your friends have been bugging me to put these people I used to know. You got to put this stuff in, all these stories you tell us every year. You should put them in a book. It's easy to say them, right? I said, I'm going to start. I don't know. I have no idea where it's going to end up.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I got told the time here.
Yeah.
And a computer, laptop, I'm doing with a computer. So anyway, after I had the book written, by the way, each chapter in the book is on a Word document here. Okay?
Yeah.
On purpose. It's one of my great accidents because the publisher loved the fact that it was not a PDF file,
Right.
not an Excel.
Yeah.
It's a Word document. And each one was separate.
Yeah.
And so I mailed him 39 chapters, whatever it was, email. Anyway, so yeah, finding the right publisher. Well, I understand you're writing a book. You're trying.
Yeah. So I have about 2 months to the finish line, I would say. I'm on like the final.
What's the genre? What is it?
It's a fiction book for 10 to 15-year-olds.
Oh, okay. So it's a youth book. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have a publisher?
Yeah.
You do have a publisher.
I do.
Are you paying to have it self-published?
It's like a hybrid. So I pay some, they pay some.
Okay, because I paid to have mine done.
Yeah.
No one's waiting with their bated breath for my book.
Me neither.
Yeah, same as yours.
Right.
Okay. So finding the right, when the book was finished just before Thanksgiving, physical writing. And then I said to myself, okay, well, I got this thing. I sent out the first 3 chapters to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Including people who were in the business.
Yeah.
Like her, I got terrific feedback saying, no one's ever written about this. Never.
Yeah.
It's not an instruction book. It's not about the players.
Right.
Not about the talent.
Yeah.
It's something people don't even know about.
Yeah.
And it's unique.
Yeah.
You got something.
Yeah.
That was very encouraging.
Yeah.
Because people would say, send me more chapters. I said, no.
Yeah.
I don't want the chapters out there.
Right. That was smart.
That is really smart.
Yeah.
Because I'm a pretty good guy. I would say,
Yeah.
send you 5 more.
Right.
Oh, these are better than the first 3.
Yeah.
I want to see some more. I thought, no. I can always send them out after the fact.
Right.
After the publisher says, get out of my life. You're going to stay. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I started. Right after Thanksgiving saying, okay, let me look into the publishing business. Whatever the hell that even means. I have no idea what it even means. And I said, okay, make phone calls. A lot of what they call boutique publishers. That's what I'm looking.
Yeah.
They range anywhere from $3,500 to $15,000, depending on what you're looking for. Fortunately for me, my daughter, she was this lady that was a book writer for a living. She wrote children's books. My wife, my daughter hooked me up with her. She lives in New York. My daughter lives in Yardley, and I'm in Hurricane. Well, I called this lady in New York, whose name I forget right now. My daughter had told her about the story, and, so that she knew the background. And I got her on the phone. I told her what I was looking for, what I was trying to do. And I said, I have found one publisher, Newman Springs Publishing, where the first words out of their mouth wasn't, how are you going to pay me? Can I have your bank information?
Right.
Give me a credit card.
Yeah.
And I had to put up with that. That's what everybody did. And Newman Springs never did that. So, but I wasn't ready to go with it. I don't know. So I told her, this lady, this young girl, about what Newman Springs was going to do for me for $4,200. It was what they quoted me, okay? Based on a conversation, nothing formal, but based on me talking to the vice president, who's a guy named Sean Serator. He was pretty laid back and okay. She said to me, she said, John, for what they're telling you they can do for you, you'd be a fool to go with them, because you're talking about $10,000 worth of work for $4,200. You're not going to do that like that.
Yeah.
They include editing, marketing, a whole bunch of other stuff. I had an 8-page contract.
Yeah.
Very detailed, very particular, and everything written down, spelled out, written in English language that I understand, not lawyer stuff. Really. So I said to her, this is like in the January. I said, okay, that made me feel good. I had the right guy, because I talked to 20 publishers.
Yeah.
20, some for a minute and a half, some for 20 minutes, but it all came down to the money, and they weren't interested in a whole lot of my story. And it was just it wasn't a fun, yeah. So I finally said to my wife, I said, let me tell you something. I said, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting a warm, fuzzy feeling about anybody here.
Yeah.
I said, Aaron's friend says that this guy I've talked to Sean Serator maybe 2 or 3 times. He wasn't a pain in the ass, but he was following up and seeing how I was doing.
Yeah.
In a very nice way, a very professional way. And I said, I'm thinking of pulling the trigger with him. I had the money. Money was not an issue at all. And I said, I think I might do that. So on purpose, I signed the contract with Newman Springs on March 17th, which is my birthday. I did that on purpose.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to remember the date.
That's good.
And I did it it was a Monday morning. And I called Sean on the phone. In time was my birthday. But I said, send me the contract. I want to sign it. And I said, by the way, every one of my chapters is on a Word document, separate Word document. And he said, oh, really? I said, yeah. He only saw the first 3 chapters. That's all he saw. And I said, yeah. So I got like 39 Word documents for this thing. Because I have to things that say, I want to introduce this to some people. And that doesn't involve a golf course, So I've got a couple of those.
Logistics one.
Huh?
The logistics chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he talked about, this is how I, do the travel and the car.
Yeah. And then, tying the thing all together, what a stimp meter is and all of that.
Yeah.
And then it introduces some people that I work
with.
Okay. So anyway, he said, oh, you have them on Word documents. I said, yeah, I do. And he said, okay, well, great. He said, you get a $400 discount. He says, so we're going to charge you $3,800 instead of $4,200. He says, if you have everything where it's like the first 3 chapters you sent me. I said, yeah, exactly the same. He said, okay, well, great. That saves us a lot of work. So I said, we'll just pass that on to you. So that made me feel good that this guy was not trying to kill me.
Yeah, he's not saying I'm going to charge you $400 for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if he said that, I would say, oh, okay, what do I know, right?
Hey.
So he was honest, and that's why I did it. And I signed the contract on March 17th.
What year?
Just 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the book was printed June 17th, Same day.
Wow.
June 17th, 2024. Now, including Sean, told me this. Said from the time you signed the contract to publishing, not yet to get printing and publishing, is 6 months minimum. Minimum. Because I wanted to get my book out before the U.S. Open. I signed the thing in March. He's saying to me, "You're a fool." I don't know this though. What do I know? He said, that ship sailed back in December.
Right.
You're in March.
Yeah.
You have no way. I said, okay. But you'll be okay for the Christmas market.
Yeah.
Okay? It's all right. All right. No, beggars can't be choosers. It's not his fault. So what happened was March 17th to June 17th is 3 months. Okay? So where did the 6 months come from? Right? Well, when you sign up with at least my publisher, Human Springs, they give you a team leader.
Yeah.
Not Sean, somebody else that works with you.
Yeah.
And her name was Hannah. And it was probably still Hannah. She and I became very good telephone friends. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But she looks like she could be 150 years old for all I know. But she was great to work with. And when it got to be near the end, and I was going to get it printed, I said, "Hannah, I was told 6 months. How do you get that?" She said, "John, every time we make a change, we put the ball back in the author's."
Yeah, that's the way I'm doing it too.
Sure. And then when you approve it, we send it back, or you don't approve it, whatever, you send it back, then we start from that point. She said, editing by far is the most expensive and the longest thing.
Yeah.
Okay. She said, we did your book in, these will take 6 weeks. We did your book in 5 weeks. We sent it to you. You got it back to us in a day and a half. I had nothing better to do. Right? I don't. I'm bored. I can't walk very much, I can't play golf, I sit down in the basketball games.
Right.
It's where my life is now.
Yeah.
I'm 82, not 22, right? Because she said, most people get the editing back and we get it back from them in 3.5 weeks.
Right.
I said, yeah, because they have families, they're young, they're playing golf on the weekend, they're not, I said, kind of, I have nothing else better to do. So I spend a full day looking at stuff.
Yeah.
And I can get it back to you in 2 days. She says, well, that saves you 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And she said, don't forget, every time we send any author anything, we don't do anything until we get it back. There's no work we can do because you have the thing, right? Now, there's just something in here. I don't know where it is. If you can find it, find me the Pinehurst thing where I get fired. You should have that. I'm going to show you something. I want to see how smart you are.
With Trump?
Huh? No. No, just show me what's the chapter name? What's the chapter?
You're testing me? I'm on winter break here.
What's that?
I'm on winter break here. You're testing me?
No.
Not the one with Trump?
No, not the one. Just show me the chapter. Just chapter. What chapter is it? Do you know? Did it say? Do you have the number down there?
I have a lot of the numbers.
Pinehurst.
Well,
I think it was page 84. I don't know.
99 was Haynes Stewart.
No, because
The only page number I wrote down was about Trevino.
okay.
I just wrote the chapter numbers.
2005.
Oh, yeah, Michael
Campbell. Okay. Not in the book, but okay, let me show you something. Okay, here we go. Okay. What you read? Well, setting it up is I'm afraid of getting fired. I don't know. Read from. If that were the case, I'd be going to jail for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, read.
If that were the case, I'd be going to jail for sure. We were not friends. Was this scenario going to be a horror show, a sitcom, or maybe a combination of both? Everything was at play.
Okay, stop right there. So here we are. Was this scenario going to be a horror show, a sitcom, or maybe a combination of both? What I wrote next was everything was in play. In play. Didn't like that.
Really?
They didn't like that. That's why they put the word "had" in there. Okay. So I say to myself, look, I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No, because that's what we would, if you said it, right? If we were having
Everything's
conversations,
implied.
we'd say input. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
So that stuck in my throat. One word, two letters.
Yeah.
And I didn't write it.
Right.
I didn't. So it comes to everything's fine, everything's done. And Hannah says to me, we're ready to push the button. Okay, so it's like the 10th of June. We're ready to push the button. Thing in that book, you want to change. She said, because once we push the button, there's no going back.
Right.
I said, let me call you back this afternoon. I'll give you an answer today. It's early in the morning, 11 o'clock. So I said to my wife's the best. She's great. She was really a big help here. I said, did she knew about the whole thing, the "at" and the "in"? And I said, you want to change that back to "in."
Yeah.
It's the only word in this book I didn't write.
Mhm.
It's the only word I didn't write. So she says, well, I had to sign off on Chicago Institute of something, the standard that the book, if it's Chicago something.
Yeah.
I signed off on that.
Yeah.
And evidently the Chicago standard is this.
Right.
But that's okay. You can always change, they're not going to put me in jail
Right.
for going against the Chicago standard of book writing, right? So I said, so I called two more of my good friends who knew about this story, and who knew that I was angsty on this thing, right? Well, I'd written and I'd told them about this thing. And they said, John, we think "in" is the right thing. And I said, I keep hearing that from all my friends. None of you who are experts.
Right.
You're just people like me. I'm a person.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, okay, well, thank you. So I had like 4 or 5 people that I called that day, thinking about it. 2 letters. That and "in." Right? This is how goofy it can be.
Yeah.
And I said to my wife, I said, I think I'm going to leave it in. I'm going to leave it in because it's something that I can always ask people about and see what they think.
Yeah.
And it's the only word I didn't write. The only word I figured 44,000 words.
Right.
And I said, I think they're wrong.
Yeah.
And everybody I know thinks they're wrong.
Right.
But they think they're right. And they're the X class. I'm going to leave it in. And I don't regret it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a fun thing.
It is.
So now you know something about this book that nobody else knows.
Awesome.
Right now, I can't imagine someone reading this book. What was 88? Crazy? I'm not reading the rest of this book. So that was interesting. And then, so that's key. Getting back to the publisher is shortens the time.
Right.
Because, and I'm sure they're all the same, that they don't do anything while you're looking at their suggestions.
Yeah.
Because I said to them, they said they're going to find a title for me.
Yeah.
They're going to have a picture for me. They're going to have this is called the blurb.
Yep.
The blurb.
Yeah.
And she said, the only thing we want you to do is the picture and your biography. Okay. That's the only thing we want you to do.
Yep.
We don't know you.
Yep.
Okay. So I said to myself, well, first of all, I'm doing all that myself. I had my daughter write my biography. I didn't know my own voice. So she wrote this. I wrote this. Okay. Now I just did it myself. It's my title and my picture. And I sent all this to Hannah and her team. And I said, okay, here's the things you asked me to do. Here's the picture. Here's my title. Here's my blurb. And here's my biography. If you think you can do better than that, let me know before you do anything. But this is what I can give you that I like. I like.
Yeah.
If you think you can do better, I am wide open to suggest. I really am. And I told her, she's not a golfer. I told her, this is not a U.S. Open golf course. This is a generic picture off of the internet that I happen to like.
Yeah.
Because there's two U.S. Opens. There's U.S. Open tennis tournament.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, I don't want someone to buy the U.S. Open book and have a tennis racket, or they want to buy their tennis racket, and they see this.
Right.
Well, that's no good.
No.
So I said, and it's not a golf hole used in the U.S. Open. I don't want to insult anybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I want to play. I don't know. If I do anything, I know, but I would put Marion on here.
Yeah.
If I had to put a book, I would put Marion on here, and maybe just the basket.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit inside. That's inside golf.
Right. Yeah.
Because the guy in Iowa has no idea about the baskets. Okay. So I thought this was perfect.
Yeah.
So she got back to me like 2 days later. She said, "John, we love it.
Yeah.
We can't do better than that.
That's awesome.
Let's go. Then let's move on.
Yeah.
Push the button." And then she did say, as I got further and further into the publishing part of it, I was getting more and more stuff from them to do. She said, "John, we're getting to the point. If you want to change, I don't have to change anything. If you want to change anything, we can do it. It's going to cost you $120 a word. And we can do it.
Yeah.
But time is short.
Yeah.
We're really along in this process. So be very sure and clear that you want to make a change or changes for every word." So what they're saying to me is, don't change anything. Because you're not John Grisham. You're not a multimillionaire. You're John McLaughlin. You're nobody. So I didn't. So I left that in there on purpose. So I could have changed that to in. And I don't think she would have charged me. I really don't think she would. Because we became pretty friendly.
Right. So you made it for the U.S. Open?
What's that? No, June 17th, it was printed. It didn't hit publishing until July something.
Okay.
3rd or 4th, something like that. And on July the 11th, my book was number 27 on the bestseller list.
Good for you, Lang. It's awesome.
Now it's number 400 and something or other.
Dave, you can tell people it was number 27, right?
It's 27 for a week.
Are you proud of the product?
Yes, I am so proud of the product. I am in awe of people even liking this. Because I'm nobody. I'm nobody. I am not. I'm not. I did the best compliment I got was from my good friend, who really business friend. He really wanted me to do this. A guy named Joe Henry. He's retired now, so he owned his own company, and we distributed his products.
Okay.
Okay, he was a manufacturer's rep. We were a distributor. So anyway, so we knew each other, and he said to me, when I read this book, and he was dying to read this book because he knew all the stories. Me and I would have lunch every Wednesday at the U.S. Open. And he said, I could picture you sitting next to me telling me these things.
I thought the same thing. Before I even met you, I thought the same thing.
I said, well, I tried for that. I said, I'm a college grad, although you'd never know it. And I'm barely a college grad. I said, I purposely did try to impress anybody with my words or my syntax or anything else. I just want to be the guy sitting in the bar stool next to you saying, hey, guess where I was today?
Yeah.
I was on the 18th team with Jim Lehman, when he lost the U.S. Open. Tell me about that. Yeah, here's what happened.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, and you did a great job.
Well, I thank you for that, but that's what I was going after. And several of the people who know me, who know how the way I talk, said the same thing. They said, I was just picturing you sitting across from me, telling me you almost got fired at Pinehurst, like a big dope, right? Because they thought you were a black guy.
When you were getting put on probation at Villanova with your 2.0 GPA, would you ever imagine that you would write a book someday?
This was the furthest thing from my mind. I didn't start this until 1980. I graduated from Villanova in 1963.
But could you imagine you would have been a published author?
No.
Yeah.
If someone had told me that, I'd say, you're eating the wrong mushrooms. Because no, I'm not a clever person. I'm really not. I'm just such an ordinary person. And for this to happen, and I good Lord, I have to thank the pandemic because that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here at home going, I can't even go to this food store without wiping my cans down. I'm not doing that. My wife and I are two very simple people. We live alone. She had a dog at the time. I had to put her down recently. But my kids were married and out with their children. So it's just really nice. It's a really nice house, a really nice big house in Havertown, right across from the Atlantic Diner, the Atlantic section.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, what am I going to do? I can't even go to games. Well, I did find out that I never heard of YouTube before. Never. Till the pandemic. Well, all kinds of basketball games on YouTube. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, oh man, this is great. I'm working on my book, and in my spare time, I'm watching basketball.
Yeah.
That's I love basketball. And I thought, oh, this is cool. So the internet and having to not go anywhere and really not wanting to go anywhere was a real big deal. So I had a couple of things going for me. The pandemic had all my notes, had encouragement from my friends who knew about a lot of this stuff, but not in any kind of order.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And no background material.
Yeah.
But even kind of people I was working with when they say, let me introduce you to some people.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. It was my perspective of them.
Yeah.
Not what you think of them. It's what I thought of them. You know what I mean? Like Mark Rolfing, who was, a pretty important guy at NBC.
Yeah.
Well, he was a drug addict, an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And NBC knew about him.
Right.
And they told him, get your shit together, we're going to fire you.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm proud of him for saying, you know what? I'm a critical part of my life.
Yeah.
I got a good job. I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
I thought I was stop sitting up your about that.
Yeah.
I don't know how he drank or
Right.
cocaine, whatever.
Yeah.
I never got involved in that. So, I don't know how many people know that. That's a true story. He was going to get fired like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things like that, yeah, I am in awe of the fact that I'm even holding this in my hand. Like, who the hell are you to hold this in your hand with your name on it? What are you, crazy?
Where can people get a hold of the book? What's the best way?
It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. It's on BarnesandNoble.com and other places. I don't know where the other places are. Now, here's a good question that you should know. You maybe know the answer to this.
What's that?
And I hope you're not going to be disappointed in this answer. This book costs $22 if you buy it, 22 something. If you buy it at Amazon.
Right.
How much of that $22 comes to me?
$22.
It's a really good answer. $3.41. Shocked me. When it got published and it got printed and it went on to be number 27 of the best books in the world.
Yeah.
Not really in the world, sports world. Not the New York Times. I mean, my wife's a smart lady, and I'm saying to myself, it's the amount here. It ain't nothing.
Right.
The book's $22. I know that Newman Springs is taking 3% out of it for administrative purposes, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So now I'm down to $21.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was $22.95, so now it's down to $21. So $21. Amazon's going to take a piece out of it.
Right.
Which they deserve. So how much are they going to take? $10.
Right.
$10. So I said, all right, that's about it. What else is there?
Yeah.
So I said, I think that the public, as an author, should probably, for this one of the book name, $12.
Yeah.
$15, $10, and $12.
Yeah. I agree.
Now, I knew at the time that I was going through this, but I had sold 133 books. This New and Springs told. So I said, $3, 33 books. Close $10.
Yeah.
Then a chicken feed.
No, you would make your money back soon.
Yeah. So anyway, I know the number of books. And shortly after, I got a letter, an email from Newman Springs telling me my royalty check. $500.87. So I divide $500.87 into 133, and then it comes out to $3.41.
Right.
Like, call hey, Hannah,
Help me out here.
explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old. She says, it's in your contract. We took it 8 pages. I have the contract. I've read the contract several times. Wow, I guess. He said, look at page so. I said, I see the 3%. Look at that. He goes, yeah, well, you see where we have this, that, and the other. I said, how much does Amazon take? 0. Amazon takes nothing. 0 from the book. 0. Every book, not just my book.
Yeah.
She said, we try to price our we try to put our price points for authors between $2.50 and $4 a book. So that's the price point we try to find for all of our authors. I'm on the phone, I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
And she says, you're at $3.49. And she knew the number. She says, you're at $3.49. Because you're one of the highest ones we have. You're getting close to $4 for your book. And to somebody saying to herself, you should be happy. What are you calling me for? Well, she didn't say that. So I'm saying, well, I am a big dope for expecting.
Yeah.
In college. 20, it's less than half of what my neighborhood, right? I've been to other big work. I've been to family dinners, Christmas, and I'd say to people, what do you think I get from my, they know about the book. What am I getting from my book? Is people would say $2.50, $3. I'm saying, these are just normal people. I figured they would say $21.
Yeah.
Right? Now, were you aware of that? How low the number is?
No.
You know your number.
So
You haven't got that far yet.
it depends on who sells it. If they sell it, they get the money. If I sell it, I get 90%.
Okay.
So they get 10% of everything.
Well, they're going to publish it, right?
Yeah.
They're going to print it and publish it.
Yeah.
Have you signed the contract?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you have. Yeah. Okay. How many pages is it?
260, I think.
It's a lot. How many words,
77,000.
Okay, so do they know what the book's going to sell for?
No, not yet. Haven't gotten there yet.
Have they talked to you about hardcover, softcover?
Soft cover.
Yeah, that's what this is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought I would like a hardcover. And
I wanted hardcover.
yeah. Well, Hannah said to me, well, you can have hardcovers, no problem. She said the price point for a hardcover is going to be $75. She said for a soft copy, it's going to be $22. Do you think you're going to sell more books at 75 or 22? And I don't know the answer to that question. I truly don't.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't know. She said, well, without putting words on her mouth, she said, we're the experts here. We know this is a soft cover book.
Yeah.
And she said, we highly recommend soft cover. And that's all she has to say, because I know nothing.
Right.
And I said, okay, well, that's fine. Because most of the books my wife reads.
Right.
She reads all the time. I don't read anything. She reads the sports. She's got a soft cover book. And I thought, yeah, well, mine can write in with hers. The one she reads, whatever she reads. So I thought, yeah, it's not like it's cheesy to have a soft covered book anymore.
Yeah.
It used to be back in the 50s and 60s, it would be, to be a hardcover. Now it's kind of the standard for this kind of a book, especially.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So what, did you ever figure out where the other money goes?
Well, it's spelled out and it's absorbed through the printer and the marketing that they do, which they do a lot of marketing for me, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is written down. The actual numbers aren't there, but the percentages are there. So no matter what your price, whatever your book costs, do the same percentages and you come out to, and I only did it for softcover book. I didn't do it for a hardcover book.
Yeah.
I figured I'm not doing that. So why waste my time?
Yeah.
So I get paid every quarter. So my quarter started in July, August, September. So October, November, December. And tomorrow, first my last day of the year. Tomorrow, right? Yeah. So Wednesday, January 1st, right? So now my quarter will end. Okay. So within 10 days of the quarter ending, I will get an email from Newman Springs saying, this is how many books you sold.
That's nice.
And then about a week after that, they'll tell me what the check is and then mail it. But they don't mail any check under $100.
Okay.
Just for purposes that's probably expected. Right. They have a lot of authors. So I'm not the only author they have, right? So they tell you that it's in the contract too. You'll get your money, but it may take 2 or 3 quarters. If you're someone stupid like me, that writes a dumb old book like this, and you're not going to sell it to, like my name's John McLaughlin. It's not John Grisham. No one's waiting with bated breath to read my next novel or my next story or whatever the hell this thing is. Memoir. Yeah.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
How do they?
Yeah. If you want people,
Why would anyone want to get a
well,
whole?
someone reads it and they want to, tell you how much they enjoyed it.
Well, they could put a
Review.
a review on Amazon. Okay. I went to Barnes and Noble in Lorna, Ohio. I went to More Books in that little shopping center in Eagle Road. I went to the Bookery on Brookline Boulevard. I showed them my book.
What'd they say?
Thank you.
That's it?
Now wait a minute.
Yeah.
And I gave them my card, and I said, I want to know, can you help me get this book in your store? I don't know how to get my book in your store. It's on Amazon. It's on the, and so the More Book lady, who's been very nice, said to me, she was the owner. She said to me, she did something. She went on the internet. She said, "Oh, I can get your book for $13 from her distributor." Okay, so and she's going to sell it for 22.
Yeah.
And she gets more money than I do.
Right. Yeah.
I make $10, $12. I'm going to make
Right.
$3.41.
Yeah.
Now, she hasn't sold any books yet, but she said, what I'll do is I'll get a hold of my distributor and I'll put 4 or 5 of them in stock. Right? So she told me she was going to do. Now, I'm going to go back and see her
You should. Yeah.
to see if she did. And I said to her, I said, anybody who wants to buy the book and they want me to sell it, I'll sign it.
Yeah.
She said, I live around the corner. Nothing else better to do. I'm literally a 4-minute ride from my home to your shopping center, your strip mall. So I said, I'd be more than happy to do for anybody. If they want.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I said, and I gave her my card. So she said, well, I'll let you know. But she probably said to her daughter who was at the thing too, just got they have to be nice to me. Oh, everybody says they're local author.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it. We love our local author. The Bookery said the same thing.
Right.
They said, oh, a local author. I said, you should have a table of local authors.
I didn't know the book.
Huh?
They don't have that?
No, they don't. They don't have a sports table. I said, this should be on a local sports table. But the only book on the table is what I want.
Yeah.
So that's...
Well, that's awesome that you got it done and that it turned out so well.
Well, that's it for another episode of That's Good, Pick It Up, a podcast mostly about golf books. In this series, you've heard Nate talk to John McLaughlin about his book, 32 Years Behind the Scenes of the U.S. Open. If you like these stories, be sure to listen to others in this podcast series, and also check out the other podcast at bestball.com. Till next time, this is Robbie from BestBall telling you that's good, pick it up.